Okay, good morning to everyone. Today we'll be talking again about the process of plant tissue culture, and particularly we'll talk about micropropagation. So the first session for the day is micropropagation. I'll just start sharing my presentation and we'll proceed with the topic. Okay. So yesterday, you are given a brief introduction about what is plant tissue culture. Okay, what are the basic requirements of plant tissue culture? What are the applications of plant tissue culture? Okay, then you must have gone through. Just wait. Okay, so we are very much aware about what is plant tissue culture. Okay, and we know that it is a kind of in vitro propagation where the plant parts, such as the single cells, or if you're talking about the tissues or organs, they are actually being propagated under sterile conditions. Okay, and routinely you must be knowing about that there are these two different types of crops. There are these ornamental crops and the horticulture crops, which are prepared or propagated or undergone through the plant tissue culture technology, and the examples of are like begonia, rosa, chrysanthemum, and banana, potato, grapevine. Okay, if I talk about the industry wide application of tissue culture, then you are very much aware, like these are the few examples only, like the potato seed certification scheme. These are there. We need to have the certification for these kind of schemes if we are going with the process of tissue culture, okay, to produce the healthy primary stock. Or like for example, in case of the tissue culture of banana, the we are having the varieties where we are getting these disease free stocks. So I'll just proceed with what about the process of plant tissue culture. It is actually the technique of growing plant cells, tissues or organs which we are preparing in an artificially prepared nutrient media. Okay, the environment which we are giving the cells, the tissues or organs is an artificially prepared environment, and we are trying to produce a plant under the aseptic condition, under the sterile condition, and that is supposed to be the plant tissue culture process. Okay, so we are using either a cell, a tissue, or we are just using preparing cell tissue or organs by the help of these small cells or like small parts of the plant. Okay, and we are using all the kind of nutrients which are being involved, whether we are using macronutrients or micronutrients, we are using growth regulators or various medias which we are using. Okay, and under the conditions of sterile conditions, where we are considering all the conditions as well as the probable temperatures. Okay, what about the pH? So all the suitable conditions we are considering, and then we are trying to produce or grow a plant from a particular culture. Okay, so if we talk about how this plant tissue culture started, so basically the concept of totipotency came into thing, and it was being given by Haberland. Actually, Haberland, he talked about that the potentiality of every cell is like it can go with the development of entire organism. Okay, it can just produce the whole plant or whole organism, and it should just possess the genetic information, so we can just develop a whole plant from a single cell, and that comes under tissue culture. And this particular process is said to be totipotency, and plant tissue culture, it totally depends on this particular concept only. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are just picking up, we are extracting few cells from the healthy plant, and we are trying to convert these cells, okay, into a new plant. Okay, so this is the whole process which we are doing, and it is an ideal method of propagation, the process of tissue culture, and it helps us to just go with an increase in the yield of our plants. The propagation rate when we are going with the process of tissue culture is comparatively very much higher if we compare to other processes, and in a short duration of time and in a small space, okay, with an availability of few plants, we can just go for production of higher rates of these plants, and we can produce plants which are pathogen free or pest free. We can just produce such type of plants by using this technology. Okay, so all these conditions can be created. We can just have our artificially prepared conditions, and we can grow our plant into our own environment. Okay, so all this comes under the plant tissue culture, and PTC, it actually helps for the germ plus conservation, and it is one of the important advantages of our tissue culture technique. Okay, and generally genetic engineers and these plant breeders, they are going with the process, they are utilizing this in vitro culture technology, and they are going with the process of genetic improvement by using all these methods. Okay, so plants, you are aware that plants, they can be propagated, they can be produced, or they can be multiplied by basically two means. It can be a sexual mean, where we are going with the use of these general just seeds which we are using to just go with the production of a new plant, or the other method is when we are going with the asexual means, where the multiplication is done by the help of any vegetative part. Okay, so when we are talking about this asexual kind of the propagation, then we are considering clonal propagation. Okay, and in under this clonal propagation, we are talking about how the multiplication of these genetical identical copies is being done of a particular plant. We are just preparing clones of these individual plants. So what is the process? What is how the clonal propagation is done? That is a part of your plant tissue culture only. And when we are going with in vitro process, then we refer it as micropropagation. Okay, so micropropagation can be said to be a process where we are going with the practice of rapidly multiplying stock plants, and we are going with the production of large number of progeny plants. And whatever we are using, doing this is under controlled conditions, where we are creating our own environment, where we are giving artificial media to the cells to just convert into a whole plant. And then what are the stages of micropropagation, what are the steps, what are the basic requirements of micropropagation, we'll see in our future slides. Okay, so if I'll just talk about a general information about how the process of this micropropagation it is carried on. Okay, so with the stages of micropropagation, you need to understand that the first thing, if we are going with the multiplication of these plants, with the propagation or the cloning of these plants, so what we need is, first of all, is the stock plant, for which we want to go with the preparation of these clones. Okay, with the propagation process, so we need to select a stock plant, and we need to go with the growth of this stock plant. We need to just see how the plant grows, and it should be a minimum time span of 3 months. We need to grow it in the controlled condition, and we need to select the best of them, okay, that is disease free, and from where we can just pick up our cells, the explants, and we can move ahead with the multiplication process. So the first step will be how we can go with the selection and growth of our stock plants. And initialization and establishment of culture is important. So we need to have a suitable media. We can take media, we can take MS media, or whichever media, or a media can be dependent on what kind of variety or species you want to just go grow. So you can prepare your own media. Okay, and while preparing the media, you need to understand that the basic requirements of a media should be, it should have all the macronutrients, all the micronutrients. If you are using a semi-solid medium, so gelling agent should be there. Okay, and besides this, carbon sources like sucrose should be there. Then plant growth regulators, they play an important part there. Auxin and cytokinin should be a must. Okay, because they are responsible for both the shoot and root preparation. Okay, so all these plant growth regulators, all these nutrients, okay, all this will should be there in the media in which your plant will be ultimately be grown. Okay, how we will just go with the process of shoot formation, how we'll go with the process of root formation. So all this will be taken up in the environment, the artificially created environment. Okay, and as well as we will have our own conditions, environmental conditions, whether we are talking about temperature, whether we are talking about light, humidity, and all the basic requirements that a plant needs to just grow. Okay, so all this is being created. So while preparing all this initialization and establishment of the culture, we need to consider all these factors. So what are the basic requirement of that particular variety, what condition it needs, and depending on that we will create that artificial environment for the growth of the plant. Okay, so then further, because we want to go with the propagation of the plant, so we need to just have the appropriate explants, because these explants, these the parts of the healthy plant, the stock plant, for which we want to go for the process of micropropagation. So we need to select the appropriate explant. Okay, explant will be the part of that plant that will ultimately lead to the formation of the whole plant. Okay, so that we need to pick it up based on what kind of part you want to go with. You want to pick up the shoot tips, you can pick the shoot tips of the auxiliary buds. Okay, and there are other methods also, I'll discuss in later slides. So we need to just decide that what part of the plant will be suitable for the micropropagation process. For this we will just pick up the explant, and then moving ahead we need to go with the process of shoot multiplication, then root formation, and so on. Okay, so with the process of shoot multiplication, we need to, in the culture media, whatever we have just created the culture media, so shoot multiplication will start in that culture media based on whatever explant we have picked up. Okay, and it will ultimately lead to the formation of the multiplication of these shoots. Okay, so the shoot formation will take place, multiplication of shoots will take place. Okay, and then rapidly what will happen, the embryo formation of this explant will be in process. As soon as the embryo formation is being completed, so what will happen after these shoots are actually being transferred to a media where it will be going with a rapid development. We need to have the multiplication of these shoots. Okay, and later on, either what these shoots can also be picked up, then they can be moved to the soil for the development of the roots, or the process will continue with the process of this root formation. In vitro rooting will also be continued in the same media. Okay, and later on, the as soon as the plantlet is developed, so it can be transferred in the soil and transferred from laboratory to the environment of the greenhouses, and we can proceed with the process. Okay, so this is the general overview of how the micropropagation process it starts and what are the stages. So I'll just start with the stage one, that is establishment of the xenic cultures, the introduction of these surface disinfected explants into the culture, and it is followed by the initiation of the shoot growth. Okay, so what is the objective of this stage one? So the objective of this stage is where we need to just select the explants, whatever suitable explants we want to go with, we need to select that. Okay, the first thing is we need to select the explant and we need to place it into the culture. Okay, so when we are selecting the explant and we are placing it into the culture, we need to understand that we need to avoid the contamination. Okay, the environment should be such as that there is no contamination. It should be always in an aseptic condition. Okay, so providing, we need to provide this explant an environment where the shoot production can ultimately start. Okay, so we'll select an explant, we'll just place the explant into the culture media under all the sterile conditions. We will not proceed with the process where there is any kind of contamination, first of all. Okay, and then we need to provide all the environmental conditions where this explant will ultimately proceed for the shoot production. Okay, so the first thing is, what about the explants? So depending on what kind of explant you want to choose, you can just pick up that explant. Like for example, for if you want to proceed with the shoot formation, then we can just pick up the apical or the axillary buds. Okay, because they are having these axillary buds, they are having these pre-existing meristems. So we can pick up our explant from apical or axillary buds, or we can just pick up the adventitious meristems. Okay, because they will help us to just go with the formation of the shoot in a rigorous manner. Okay, and on picking up these leaves, bulb scales, the flower stems, or the cotyledons, all this will help for the explant extraction of the explant and going with the formation of the plant. Okay, with the production of the shoot formation. Okay, or we can also just from the callus we can pick up the uh, explant, and we can go with the process of shoot production. So basically both these methods, one is said to be the direct organogenesis, where we are picking up the buds, or we are picking up the cells from shoots or floral stems or cotyledons, or we are going with the indirect organogenesis, where we are picking just the callus. Okay, that is actually being developed at the surface of the explant. Okay, so both are the ways we can pick up both the things, and we can proceed with the production of the shoot formation. So usually what happens, this process, it takes around 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so this stage needs around 4 to 6 weeks, and the explant is actually generated in this particular duration, and then it is ready to just move to the stage 2. Okay, but in case of certain woody plants, if we'll talk about certain woody plants, then we need to understand that it may take a time duration of around 12 months as well. Okay, and that is because this process takes place so much time, we can also call this stage to be the stage of stabilization. Okay, the culture is actually being stabilized when these explants, they are producing a constant number of normal shoots after subculturing. Okay, so this stage is also said to be the stabilization stage. So in this particular stage, we have just created the explant is being developed by the help of the parts going with the direct organogenesis method or going with the indirect organogenesis method. We have just developed the explant into our own culture media, which is being prepared artificially and providing all the environmental conditions which will help for the production of the shoot. Okay, so that ends to the stage 1. So when the shoot is being produced, so the next stage comes is the process of multiplication. So shoot proliferation and the multiple shoot production is the stage that comes under this multiplication stage. Okay, so at this stage, what will happen, the explant, it will be expanded and it will just produce a cluster of multiple shoots. Okay, so the explant, it will just be converted into multiple shoots. So what we need to do is these multiple shoots, these clusters of shoots, they need to be separated. Okay, so we need to separate all these shoots, and these shoots, each and every shoot, it needs to be transplanted into a new culture media. Okay, so all this process, the shoots which are being subcultured, this whole process, it takes a time period of around 2 to 8 weeks. And the materials may be subcultured. We can just subculture them several times, and we can use new media, okay, just to maximize the quantity of the shoots which are being produced. Okay, so in stage one, we have gone with the process of explant, picking up the explant, suitable explant, providing the suitable media, providing the suitable environmental conditions for the growth or the shoot production. And then we want that the explant will grow into cluster of shoots. We will have multiple shoots now. So what we need to do is we need to transfer individual shoots to different culture medias. Okay, and by the whole process, from starting with day one, we need to just keep improving the culture media as well. Okay, so that the production, the quantity of shoots which are being produced, they will keep on increasing, maximizing. Okay, so with the growth of these shoots, the depletion of the culture media may take place. So we need to keep on adding the culture media, all the nutrients we need to keep on adding in the whichever test tube or whichever flask, wherever you're going with this whole process, you need to keep on adding the media in that. Okay, so proceeding with the next stage. So we have gone with the explant, the shoot is being developed, the shoots are being transferred individually. And then what we need to do is we need to go with the production of root formation. Okay, so with the root formation, so I told you earlier also that there are two things. Either we just prepare the shoots, and what we can do is we can just transfer it into the soil. Okay, soil will be obviously maintained under laboratory only, because we can't just go and just make the shoot grow in the climatic condition. Okay, because there it can be a possibility that it will not grow and the rooting will not happen. Okay, so we need to give the artificial conditions, the media as well as the climatic conditions, both we need to give. Okay, whether it is light, whether it is the proper pH, or whether it is the temperature, we need to provide all these artificial conditions, and we need to just keep on adding the media as well. Okay, so first thing is we can just move these shoots, and we can just see how the root will grow, if the plantlet will be produced or not, and what about finally the plant will be produced or not. Okay, but the best thing we can do is we need to just study how after the shoot formation the root formation will take place, how the elongation and the rooting will just continue. So in the stage 3 we will see this, that the rooting stage, it is how the plant is being prepared for the regeneration. Okay, so as soon as we will have the roots, with the after the shoots we will have the roots, then we can just proceed from the process of in vitro to the process of ex vitro. Okay, and we can just develop the whole plant in the control environment rooms and in the glass houses as well. And we can ultimately understand that if the growth of the plant is okay enough, then we can ultimately just locate them at the suitable locations, okay, in the fields, and we can see how the plant is being growing. So in this particular stage, we are involving not only the rooting of the shoots, but we are understanding what are the conditions in which the plant growth can be increased, how we can just increase the potential for its acclimatization, that how we can just move it from the laboratory condition to the conditions in the actual locations, in the actual geographic localities, how it will be being developed in those conditions. So all these things are under this stage 3, where we'll be understanding about the potential of acclimatization, and what about the survival of these transplant, will they survive in those conditions or not. Okay, so all this is under this stage, and with the induction of the adventitious roots may be achieved either in vitro or ex vitro in the presence of auxin. We can just use the plant growth regulators like auxin and cytokinin here for the induction of roots. Auxin will work. Okay, and but the main disadvantage of this ex vitro, if I compare it with the in vitro rooting process, that possibly if I'll go with the process of this ex vitro at this particular stage, that the root may damage, because when we are transferring it to the soil, it can be a possibility that the root may damage. So basically when the process is being going with the micropropagation with after the formation of the shoots and clusters of shoots transfer to different medias, then we would like to see how the root is formed in that particular stage only. Okay, we won't go with the transfer or the acclimatization. We won't go with all these stages at present, and we will just try to see what is the rate of the root production. And if we see it in case of in vitro, then obviously the rate of root production in an in vitro condition is comparatively very much greater if I compare it by the rooting process done in ex vivo, in ex vitro condition. Okay. So the next stage is when I'll talk about the stage 4, that is the step of acclimatization, where the transfer of these regenerated plants, because we have started with the explant, picked up any part, any part meristem. Okay, and then we have just developed the shoot, we have developed the roots as well. So we have just gone with the process where we can just see how the plant is being regenerated, and now we need to just transfer this regenerated plant to the soil under natural environmental conditions. Okay, so the transplantation of these in vitro derived plants, we need to understand what is, how is the process of acclimatization. Is these plants, when they are being transplanted from one environment to the other environment, how they are behaving, what is the survival rate of these plants when they are being planted, when they are being transferred to the actual soil. Okay, so before the transfer of these soil rooted plants to the final environment, we can just study the acclimatization process. We can give the environment to the glass houses or the environment rooms. We can just provide them all those controlled environmental conditions which are there in the geographic locations, and we can study how the plant will react for these conditions, what will be the growth rate, what will be the survival rate of this particular plant. Okay, so the plants which are being transferred from in vitro to ex vitro conditions, they will undergo all the gradual modification. If we talk about how the leaf will grow, okay, what about the morphology of the leaf, the anatomy of the leaf. We need to understand that the how the stomata will function. What about the other parts of the plant body? Okay, so all this can be studied under this control environment. We can study all this. Okay, and then we can just proceed with the transfer of this plant. Okay, so the plants, they also form a protective epicuticular wax layer over the surface of the leaves. So we need to understand that what about this control environment which we are giving. So will these layers will be produced or not, and what about the impact of all these conditions, how the plant is behaving, what is the survival rate of the plant. Okay, so after just watching all these conditions, how the plant body is being reacting. Okay, and the regenerated plants, how these plants, they can be gradually adapted to the survival of the new environment conditions. We need to see that, and then accordingly we will proceed with the next stage. Okay, so the moment we have seen this, we need to understand that okay, our plant is actually being ready and we can just move it to the geographical locations. Okay, so while going with the process with the techniques of micropropagation, we can just, as I told you, we can go with the process of picking up the explants. We can just culture the apical or axillary buds, or we can just go with the meristem or single or multiple node cultures. We can go with the adventitious shoot formation or somatic embryogenesis. Okay, so while going with the process of micropropagation, we can just search out for such methods, and we can just proceed with the process of cloning and preparing, regenerating the whole plant once again. Okay, so if I just talk about the applications of plant tissue culture, then we are very much aware that plant tissue culture is helping us for all these applications. The applications were discussed yesterday also, because with the elimination of the disease from unhealthy plants, from transport on quarantine inspection, germ plasm storage, genetic improvement, and the most important one is micropropagation. Okay, and if I'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of micropropagation, then we need to understand that under the advantages we have rapid and efficient plant multiplication at scale, because the process is going at a very high scale in a small duration of time. The amount of clones which are being produced under micropropagation are really very large. Okay, and the genetic and phenotypic uniformity that is maintained during the whole process is actually very good, and the clonal multiplication, it ultimately leads to good uniform genetical mapping of these plants. Okay, and the production of high health plants, because what we need is we need to have all those plants which are sterile and which are disease free. So micropropagation, it also helps us to produce such plants. Okay, pathogen testing is also, we can do with the pathogen testing and in the in vitro state, and we can just pick only all those cells which are these pathogen free state. Okay, and obviously when we are going with the process of micropropagation, the space requirement is comparatively very low. We can just store hundreds of variety in a small space. Okay, and the maintenance risk is actually also low as compared to other methods. But the disadvantage is the whole setup. The one thing is the whole setup is a very specialized type of setup. We need to have specialized laboratories and equipments, and obviously going with the whole process, we need to understand that that should be done in an aseptic condition. We need to have skilled laborers only. Okay, and then there are certain other things, like there is an example of cannabis. It may be difficult to establish it in vitro, but it can be done, require considerable time and effort to optimize the growth conditions. Okay, and due to infection, we can also lose the certain varieties. It is one of the disadvantages of micropropagation. Okay, so if I talk about the basic requirement of micropropagation, then obviously we need to have all the facilities, including the laboratory, the tissue culture growth room, and obviously if ultimately we need to go with the nursery, check the conditions, the survival rate of these plantlets. Okay, and the mother plants, the stock plants which we are taking. So we need to have the healthy source of these stock plants. We can't go with those sources which are already having some kind of contamination or disease state. Okay, so we can't pick all these kinds of sources if they are under certain abnormal conditions, and we can't just proceed with the process of micropropagation. So and the workflow, wherever we want to go with the process of this micropropagation, we need to have that workflow and the sterile media formulation. And we need to understand that while going through the whole process, we will have an operational cost, the whole setup, the laboratory, as well as the labors that will work under the whole process. So it needs an operational cost as well. Okay, so you are all aware about what kind of laboratory conditions we need. We need to have a media preparation room. Okay, we need to prepare the media. We need to have these autoclaves, the balances, the pH meters. Okay, the dispensers, then the refrigerators, the 4-degree storage. Okay, so all this is needed when we want to go with the process of micropropagation. We need to have the transfer rooms or the cleaning rooms there. Okay, so LAF are required, the instruments or all the sterilizers. We need to control the temperature and humidity, as well as the lighting system, because when we are growing them in the laboratory conditions, so we need to give them all the conditions which they are getting under the field condition, the geographical locations. Okay, so we need to provide them the proper temperature, we need to give them proper humidity. Okay, and we need to understand what are the basic requirement of light for the plant. Okay, so proper amount of photons need to be given to these plants. Okay, and nursery, obviously the as soon as we have got our plantlets grown in the laboratory condition, we need to just transfer them into the nursery, just to understand the process of acclimatization and how they can be transplanted, and how we can just move ahead with the process in the normal geographical conditions. Okay. So while picking with a mother stock, we need to understand that whenever we are picking a mother stock, then the source should be healthy enough. We just can't pick any such source which is not healthy enough. We need to just go through the phenotypic and genotypic information with respect to that particular mother plant, and then only we can just select our explant from that. Okay, so while preparing the explant, we need to understand in what condition it is, as well as we need to just pick only those sources which we can just ultimately go with the production of shoot as well as root. Okay, so mother plants, they need to go with the initial establishment. We need to establish these mother plants first in vitro, study all the conditions, okay, and study it, the phenotype and genotype of that mother plant. Okay, later on, if we talk about the workflow and the media, so I talked about that the workflow is such that we need to have a defined media for this, all the possible media conditions. Okay, the macro, micronutrients, or the, if there is, it is a semi-solid media, so we need to have a gelling agent, plant growth regulators, they are also important. So while going with the initiation of the process, so we need to just, for example, if I'm having the nodal cutting, so I need to have the surface sterilization. Okay, I can just isolate the nodes and I can just embed the nodes. Then I will just go through how the shoot multiplication will start. So if I'll start with the days, so at the 0 day I'll start with the cutting of the nodes and sterilization process, and at the day 25 I can just see how the shoot multiplication had started. Okay, all this needs to be done in always in an aseptic condition, the process of subculturing of these shoots. Okay, and the plant growth regulator like cytokinin, this is helpful for the process of shooting. Okay, so I told you there were basically these plant growth regulators which are working, the two of them mainly. Cytokinin, it is working for the shoot multiplication process, and on the other hand there is auxin. So after the shoot multiplication process had started, at day 25 we can just put them into different, we can separate out the shoots and just put them in different culture medias, and we can start watching them how the root is being formed. Okay, so rooting process, in order to just proceed with the rooting process, we need to provide auxin to that particular media. Okay, and later on with the expansion of the days, we will now need to understand how the acclimatization conditions will be if we are transferring the plantlet into the necessary conditions which are there at the geographical location. So we can just transfer the same into the plant nurseries and study about the different conditions, and what about the growth and what about the sustainability of the plant. If it is, it will survive for how much long, and what kind of growth rate it will just produce. Okay, so the media preparation, if I'll talk about the media preparation, so I had talked about that. I will not go in detail with the media preparation, because these are the general components which we want to go with the media preparation: macronutrients, micronutrients. Okay, auxin and cytokinin, I told you auxin will help for the root thing, and cytokinin with the shoot thing. And if we are not having a liquid media, we are having a semi-solid media, we need to have a gelling agent, sucrose, like carbon sources, and then there are other organic compounds like amino acids. So all should be there in the media. So we can just, there are standard medias which are used, and we can also prepare our own media depending on what kind of variety of species we want to propagate. Okay, so if we proceed with how the shoot and root proliferation is done, so I talked that the cytokinins, they are helpful for the shoot induction and elongation of these shoots. Okay, so they are playing a very important role, these plant growth regulators, because if you're not adding these cytokinins or auxins, then the results won't be the similar, obviously. And but we need to understand that whenever we are transferring the process of shooting and rooting, it should be done in these plant growth regulators, but the percentage, the amount of addition of these cytokinins and auxins should be at the expected amount only, okay, so that we can just have the desired plantlet. Okay, it shouldn't be such that we will add so much that we, the effects which we'll get should not be an unexpected effect, okay, besides the environmental conditions. Okay, so with the micropropagation output, with the subculturing, as soon as we'll keep on going with the process of subculturing, approximately after every 25 days, we need to understand what about the multiplication rate. Okay, because with the subculturing, we will study how the shoots are being produced and what about the vegetative buds. So we will keep on studying the process, the multiplication rate. You can see here that we can just proceed, we can cut the portion, we can just study the vegetative bud and the shoot, and we can keep on studying the multiplication rate. So this will just repeat on, the multiplication rate will repeat on, and this is a small information, a small flow chart with respect to the multiplication rate of the plants. Okay, so here you can see at day 0, if I've gone with the subculturing of 1, then the multiplication rate will be this, and it will produce this number of plantlets. Okay, so there is a very rapid multiplication possible. Obviously, this is just we are just calculating how we can go with the process. This is not actually real, but obviously we'll go with the if we can just manage with around 1500 to 2000 cuttings per day, then we can have a high growth rate as well. Here you can see like for example, here this is the day 100 and we have gone with 5 subculturings. So the and with the multiplication rate of 4, 5, 8 and 10. So you can see here, so there are 256 of plants, 625, 4000 and around 10,000. And here you can see what about the number of plantlets that are being produced. Okay, so this whole process of micropropagation, the whole process includes these small stages, and the basic thing which you need to understand is how you need to just extract your explant, what are the conditions. Okay, and I have not explained all these because in the future lectures you will be just detailed about all these methods, somatic embryogenesis, what is the details of somatic embryogenesis, and the environmental conditions and the media. We have talked about all this in the yesterday's section. Okay, so you need to understand that whenever we want to go with the process of micropropagation plant tissue culture, okay, so in case of the asexual propagation, this micropropagation is the most preferred one, and it will produce good results as well. And we need to go with the steps where we need to just select the explant, suitable explant, okay, from the mother stock, and then we can just proceed with the shoot formation, we can just proceed with the root formation, and then we need to study the steps for acclimatization, that how our plant will be acclimatized and will it grow in those suitable environmental conditions or not. Okay, so this was just a brief information about micropropagation, and with the practical session, I guess we can proceed with the later on sessions, and we can go with the questions now. I'll just start.